Hello, everyone. My name is Marion with DTM Real Talk Channel. It's the channel that you can tune into, have the ability to listen to the thoughts of others about topics all over the world that touch every one of our lives. Everybody goes through basically the same thing. There is nothing new under the sun. So if you're going through, someone else has already been there. Maybe you can find hope. Maybe it's a pathway that can set you on the right road just by tuning in. So DTM Real Talk, just keeping it real. And if you like it, like us at the bottom, subscribe, and let us know just how we helped you. Just keeping it real. Nothing but love. Good evening. We are back. This is DTM Real Talk, and I hope you guys have been enjoying the episodes because last week Chestine talked about her childhood and how she was molested, and her mom and dad passed away, how she was molested by someone close to the family, and then how the big deal was forgiveness, how that she had the opportunity, God worked with her heart, and she had the opportunity to forgive the relative that molested her. And he passed away. And that was a sad story, but it ended in a good story because she ended up with a free heart and a free mind and a free spirit. And she's able to free others today because of that. But Chestine shared with us how that she was involved in drugs and crimes. And actually she was on her way spiraling down, in my opinion, right?
Yes.
So Chestine, it's your time. You take it over and tell the good folks what happened that you ended up in prison again. Your time.
All right. Well, I continued to use, and as I continued to use, I had to take care of that habit, which led me to continue to commit other crimes. And so I started committing crimes, and I was still having my children, still raising my children. And there was a time that I went in with some friends, and just so happened I got caught. And so when I got caught, I lost all rights to my children. Of course, it was a process. I lost all rights to all three of my children.
Yes.
And
where did they go? Where did they go?
Well, one of them went to an aunt. My aunt took her in, and the other two, they went to foster care. And so I didn't see them because of me going to prison. I didn't see them till 14 years later in my life. Yeah, which, later on caused a lot of grief, pain. And so I could see that continuing to go, that, like they call it, a generational curse up on here, or, same thing that mama did, here I go, because of that lifestyle, the lifestyle.
Yes.
Went to prison after I was incarcerated for 11 years of my life. I tell you, it was a terrible time because, coming into prison, my aunt that raised me, she passed away, but I was able to go to her funeral, and she passed away. Then they served me my papers in prison saying I lost all rights to my children.
Wow.
And so that was
While you were there, you lost.
Wow, I was in prison. Yeah, and that was devastating, as a mother, so I had to deal with that. Then I had to deal with losing my freedom. So I lost three major things in my life while I was in prison. So I didn't have anyone else to call on but God. So I took that time to try to find out who I was, what my purpose was in life. Why did I do the things that I did?
Yes.
I was traumatized.
Yes.
And I was seeking for other things to feel that sadness in my life. And so I got into a class that taught about recovery. They taught us how to identify those problems and those triggers and things like that. And because of my family's reputation, I didn't have problems in prison. I had a niece that was incarcerated with me, and she was a little fighter.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have very many problems because of her. I knew that if someone said anything, she would handle it,
Just say her name and she had you covered up.
She had my back, So I just myself is because I saw so much I
Yes.
didn't want to be involved in the fights, the cussing. I saw that as, growing up. So I just wanted peace. And I guess I expressed that to other people, or they saw it.
Uh-huh.
And so I got involved in church and things like that. And I was just kind of, content to do my time. Um, didn't have very many problems. Didn't have the support that I needed. So what I did while I was in prison, I knew how to hustle. So I started hustling in prison, making so I could have money to survive,
Right, right,
because they only give you so much, maybe
right.
$7 a month. So I had to buy soap, I had to buy deodorant at the
Yeah.
time,
Necessities, yeah.
personal hygiene. And
Yes.
so I wanted to do what other people do. They was going to the store, what we call the store, and they had kind of like a little gift shop in the
Uh-huh.
facility that where I was in, and I wanted to do what they did. And so I
So
started.
Chestine, tell me what was the hustle? What was the hustle in order for you to get money
Well, I worked in the kitchen.
Okay.
So
Okay.
working in the kitchen, I had access to a lot of things, food in the kitchen.
Yes,
And a
yes.
lot of people say, I don't want to go to the kitchen. I can cook at home. When you've been incarcerated, you know how to survive. You know how to just survive. In other words, you know what to do to have a comfortable lifestyle, I
In
should
prison. Okay.
in prison. And a lot of girls have been there for 15, 20 years. They knew they knew what to do. So they told me, oh, you work in the kitchen, so you have access to this, and that. And so when they told me, I was like, if that's what you want, that's what you get. And so I had that same kind of mindset
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
had on the outside. I brought it right
Got
on
you.
in
Got
until when I started reading the word and it told me different things. It said different things. I took that to heart. And I had made up in my mind, if I continue to do this, when I get out, I'm gonna do the same thing. My
Mm,
kids they're getting older. As a parent, those feelings that were numb due to my addiction, they became to be alive. And I said,
yes.
I don't want to do this. I'm a mother and I'm better than that. And
Yes.
so I began to cry out to God, really cry out to God. And God came in and he restored a lot of the pain, the hurt, the sadness, and the love that he brought into my heart. It
Yes.
began to shine because being in prison, you see a lot of dark days, a
Yes.
lot of crazy things that happen. I heard the men being raped and molested. I heard a lot of that because when I was in prison, they sent me around to a lot of different facilities. And so some facilities were different than others. And so we had a facility where it was co-ed,
I was about to
but
ask.
we never did interact with one another.
Right.
It's about to end.
No, no,
Okay.
no. I said no,
So,
no, no. I
but
said I
anyway,
was
we
about to
interact.
ask you that
Oh,
because
oh,
I'm only familiar with the women's prison, the men's prison. I didn't know that there was a co-ed prison. But go on.
yeah, there were co-ed. And so in the co-ed prison, we go to the doctors and different things like that. But of course, you are chaperoned with a guard or something.
Yes.
So I went to the doctor one time and I heard a lot of stuff going on because the men's were housed up above us. And I would hear this. And I went to the doctor, and the same time I was going to the doctor, I met a young man and he told me that he had been raped. I said, you were the one? And I started talking to him. I knew the guards, he didn't say anything. And he just he allowed me to talk to the young man. And I said, where's your family? And so I showed him a lot of love and stuff, and started
Yeah.
I showed love by being concerned about his situation. You know what I'm saying?
Let me pause you right there. Do you think that you were sensitive to him because of what you had gone through in your childhood? Do you think that attributed to it more so?
And as he was I was getting older in prison. And
Yes.
so I saw him being young. He was just getting there. So I knew,
Oh, wow.
a very good looking kid. And I talked to him and he said, yeah, they're going to contact my mother. And that touched my heart to
Yes.
know that these things happen. Because if you've been in a shelter environment, then you go to prison, you see all these things that happen behind closed doors that society just don't know that's really going on. And
Yes.
they don't allow that to be known, what's really going on behind closed doors, and
Yeah.
it's really sad. And so I got to experience all that. And I talked to the young man. I told him I'll be praying for him. And people don't know. I mean, I've heard the screams and the sounds of a young man and boys raping, other boys. And I never forgotten it. And so that's just part of something that I had to experience so that I could help others. And so I tell you, being incarcerated for a period of time, a long period of time like I was, the girls would begin to call me Sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, sunshine, where did they get that from? So I guess if they would see the light, God's light shining.
Yes.
And so I wore that name, and I was proud to wear that name, So like I said, I established a relationship with God, and I asked for forgiveness, and everything that I did, it was a process, sister. It's a process. And so I began to talk to other young ladies because I was learning about my addiction. I began to talk to other young ladies. I began to establish a relationship, and God allowed me to see the gifts that was laying dormant, that it was in me, that He began to wake up and say, okay, this is what I called you for. Your pain is going to be your story.
That's right.
So that's what it was. And so going back into the prison, I told God, I'm not going back. I don't care. I got out of it. I'm never going back. I don't care what they do. They got to get it like I did. That was selfish thinking, but that was my thinking. But God said something different. So when you let God have His way, all that you've been through doesn't matter. You want to make sure no one else go through what you've been through. And so that's what I did. That's how I started when I got out. I said, I'll go.
So do you agree with the fact that there's purpose in your pain?
Oh, yes. By all means.
I throw that in there.
By all means, of course. And so I was grateful that all that I went through, of course, it was a lot of pain and sadness, even going through that. But God restored it back with joy, because when I go out to different places, different facilities, different prisons, different homeless shelters, and I go and I help them and talk to them. They don't know, as I help them, they're helping me too.
Amen.
So
Amen.
it's truly a blessing that I go and help others and tell them about the goodness of the Lord, and tell them, I understand, and kind of share just a little bit about what I've been through, so that they'll know that there's no one higher than the other. We on the same level. We on the, been on the same. I've been on that same pathway they've been on. Yes. And then they're open up, and they'll be more able to receive you.
Yeah,
they'll be able to receive you a lot better, because if you haven't been through what they've been through, they're not trying to hear it.
Yes. Well, I thank you. Oh my goodness. Yes. Now you see, I knew a little bit, but I didn't know all that. Yes. Well, I am blessed and I'm very grateful to have for our paths to have crossed, because that was God.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes. We got a chance to minister together in Lexington. So, but this is what I want you to do. Chestine, what I would like for you to do is speak to those that are dealing with their past history in prison. They're not doing anything with that story. They're just, oh, pitiful me right now. So what would you say to them? I don't know why you
myself. I would say journaling.
It's frozen.
Okay, if I had the opportunity to do it again, I would start journaling everything that I've been through, and then get my heart and my mind the tools, the necessary tools to be able to go out and help others that are hurting, because there is some that's going to be left behind. There is going to be some that's traumatized, and they need to find a way out. And all that we've been through, all that I've been through, I want to share it and help others so that they don't feel all alone. And so that's my advice to them is, you're hurting, your pain, go and help someone else so that they won't feel alone, because we already know how it feels to be left alone, feel hurt, feel betrayed. And so I thank God that He gave me the opportunity to go back and to help some other women and men and even children, and listen to them and let them know my story, to let them know all that pain wasn't gone, and all the pain that a person has went through It wasn't in vain. It was to help someone else.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
One more thing. I heard you say that you actually, I heard you say in the beginning, you went through with your mom and dad, listening to them argue, and you despised it. Am I not correct?
Oh, yes,
You
yes,
despised it. And so then I heard you, you said you ended up repeating the same cycle because your
yes,
mom went to prison and then you went to prison. You
yes,
repeated the
yes,
same cycle. So what I'm trying to say is that if a person doesn't understand, recognize generational events, if they don't recognize that, then they will and can repeat the same cycle. You can despise your alcoholic dad and become just like him. But as a born again believer, you have the power to change the trajectory of your life. And that's
yes,
what you did.
yes,
You
yes,
know, you repeated it, but then you say, well, you know, I'm not going to do this again. I'm going to help somebody else. I'm going to help them not repeat the same things I did.
yes.
And I see people all the time and they despise the mother or they despise the dad and they end up doing the same thing because they're focused on the bad. They're focused on being uncomfortable. They're focused on what happened to them instead of focusing on changing them.
Yes. And that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Is focus on myself to
Yeah.
be a better person. What caused me to be here? Recognize it's all your decision making and not my parents. This is my life now.
Absolutely.
So I have the opportunity to change it, to be a better person, to be a better mother. And
Absolutely.
so I use all the tools that I got, that I received in prison, and said, okay, here's the tools. It's up to me to start working on me to make me a better person.
Right.
And so I did. And so that's why it makes it so much easier to go and help others.
Oh, well, that just suits my fancy. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed her story because I certainly did. I'm very proud of you. I am super proud of you. And hopefully we will be doing some things together to bring glory and honor to God in the future. And with that said, this is DTM Real Talk, and we're just doing what?
Keeping it
real. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching DTM Real Talk. Be sure to join us for more conversation. And oh yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, share, and subscribe while you're there.